Hey, hello and good morning, everybody. Hi, my name is Darius Anucauskas, and I'm the global market analyst here at Markets.com. And today is the 9th of May, ladies and gentlemen, 2025. I hope you had a wonderful week. We had a busy one, in my opinion. We had two top central banks delivering their interest rate decisions. Two different approaches, I may say, but. I think that the market is really focused on not only the monetary policy, but also what's happening in the political arena and what's happening with the trade talks. So there are a few deals here and there done. So yes, we'll look into all that in a bit. So hopefully you'll enjoy the session, and I'll see you in a few seconds. All right, ladies and gentlemen, hello, and good morning, everybody. Hi, my name is Darius Anucauskas, and I'm the global market analyst here at Markets.com. And today is the 9th of May, ladies and gentlemen, 2025. I hope you're all feeling nice and, well, I wouldn't say refreshed and relaxed, but we had a busy week in the markets again. So I hope you're all feeling just good. Today is Friday, the last trading day of the week. Let's wrap up the week and let's see what happened this week. But before we jump into all that, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So yes, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation and should not be considered as such. This material should not be taken as an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. I'll let you read the rest. I'm not going to disappear anywhere. I'm just going to put my usual good morning in the chat room. Good morning, everyone. Yes. So there we go. Let me just double check if everything is running smoothly, running okay. It seems to be so. Yes. Okay. Right. Also, just before we jump into the charts, just a quick mentioning of our Markets.com website, which you can always check out for more information about us. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's have a look what's happening here with Nikkei 225. Now, first of all, we got some data from Japan this morning, and that was the household spending number. Or should I say numbers, because we had the month-on-month and year-on-year number. So the month-on-month came out at a better than the forecasted minus 0.5. So we remained in positive territory. The year-on-year number showed much better results here, and yep, we saw a nice increase here from going from minus 0.5 from the previous month to all the way to plus 2.1%. So that's a great result in my opinion. We're seeing some positivity right now here, and in general, yes, everything seems to be kind of working fine. Now, in general, looking at Nikkei, I think that just the positivity here is coming from the fact that there are some meetings happening, between countries with the U.S. And everybody's hoping that there's going to be some sort of a trade deal and all that stuff. So there are these hopes. However, I think the hopes are, just in the headlines. I mean, there are things happening, of course, but would those be the same? Would those be as people would like them to be? Yeah, that's, like I said, that remains a bit of a question. So look. For now, looking at this picture here on Nikkei purely from the technical perspective, what I can say here is that I'm still aiming for the upside, as long as we stay above all my EMAs here on the daily chart. If we can do that, great. I'll go for that 38,265 zone right here somewhere. It's not as I keep on saying, it's never the exact level. It's always the area around that level, because again, I think this is a good area of resistance. Previously acted as a good area of support and also resistance again. So maybe we could test that one. But of course, if that gets cleared, we could end up traveling towards the downside line here, taken from the high of the 10th of July, and then we'll just gonna go from there. So for now, long story short, look, I mean, I don't want to say anything yet, but let's say if we do travel further north, when we do find some resistance near the 38,000 kind of 300 zone, so I adjusted it a little bit. If we do find the good, like I say, resistance here, maybe a bit of a retracement here could be possible. Maybe we could see something like this happening here and moving back down. Now, the reason why I'm considering this is that maybe, just maybe, we could see ourselves something of a nice inverted head and shoulders pattern. So if this is the left shoulder, this is the head, maybe we could form the right shoulder. Again, this is just a question, then this is maybe something to consider. But for now, let's go slowly, let's go simple and in simple ways here, and let's aim for the upside, but only as long as we stay above all the EMAs on the daily chart. Let's jump into China 50. China 50 enjoying the moment as well. I think that this week we're kind of running on positive side because of the possible trade talks, and we know that there will be a meeting between Trump and Xi Jinping, if I'm not mistaken. Let me just actually confirm that. Yes, because there is where did I see this piece of information now? Let me just yeah, so Trump also China become high-level talks in Switzerland this weekend. So during the weekend, there will be there will be talks. So I know that we understand that Xi Jinping will go to Switzerland for talks, and yeah, they're going to be all meeting there. Now, okay, it will be quite interesting to see what's going to happen, of course. How this is going to escalate further. But for now, let's go from what we have, in my opinion, because I really don't like to put too much kind of hopes on anything in general, and I will believe it when I'll see it. Okay, so for now, yes, we're seeing some positivity here. We're clearing some key areas of resistance, like here, this 13,000 kind of 300 territory. And I said to you that my next target will be this 13,555 zone, somewhere around here. If this provides good resistance, great. I will go for some higher areas. I mean, if this provides good resistance, then we will take a little pause. But if it gets cleared, then we'll go for some higher areas. There we go. Managed to squeeze this one out. Look, we broke this downside line. I think we can reuse it. We can draw another tentative downside line. Again, these are all tentative. Why? Because they only have like 2 touches, and in a way they're a little bit subjective. So we'll aim for this one for now, because maybe we could aim for some not this. Maybe we could aim for something like this, but the thing is, with this, we already broke it. So, we're looking for some other potential resistance barriers, and this one could be the one. Now, look, for now, I'll say it this way. If you're looking for some lower levels on this one, well, I think that the better option on China 50 to go for a break of this little upside line right here. Now, again, this is a very, very subjective line, because, again, we could draw it this way. This is going to be a much steeper one. In a way, that's okay, that we could do so, but just like the extra precaution in a way, because this one's a little bit on a more flatter side. This one here, if we break this one, we at the same time we could break below all the EMAs on the sorry, not all, but the 50 and the 100-day EMA. We could break below those, and we could then travel towards the 200-day EMA, and then we'll go from there, of course. Let's jump into the US, because look, what did we have on Friday? Oh no, sorry, on Friday. On Wednesday, we had the Federal Reserve interest rate decision, and I think that the market kind of liked it, and we saw the rally to the upside in on Thursday, and I talked about this in my one of my videos here. If you, by the way, keep on subscribe to our YouTube channel, because again I threw out these two videos here. You can check them out where I explained. So this one was prior the interest rate decision. This one was after, and you kind of what I said, that the market got pleased. In general, everybody got pleased apart from one person, right? And everybody, like I said, enjoyed the fact that the Fed kind of stood its ground. The Fed, that it kind of remained that entity which the market kind of looks up to, and the market will always know that the Fed is the one that can help save the stock market, and basically can move away from politics and not be influenced, well, too much by politics, right? I mean, they still get influenced. I mean, we understand that there are agreements and deals and discussions are made behind the scenes, but officially, publicly, right, for the public eye. So the image, I'm talking about the image, yeah. So look, I mean, for now, I'll say it this way. We had a good run, we had a good push, as you can see here on the Dow. We had a test of my 100-day EMA, which is higher here, but then we kind of struggled to remain the upside momentum, and we drifted back below this 41,450 territory, somewhere around here, and we stayed below it. And that kind of gives me an indication that the bulls, the upside momentum might be diminishing a little bit. Let's see what's happening here with my indicators, MACD and RSI. Well, we're seeing a bit of a slowdown here. The 14-day RSI on a daily chart here is just trying to bounce, and remove above the midpoint here, the 50. So in a way, it's currently above it, but look, it's still way too close. The MACD showing kind of somewhat, it's like it's a problem here. We're showing like slowing down upside momentum, but it's maybe just a little temporary pause. Maybe we'll see some some good stuff coming out. And we can see that the faster moving moving average, and when the slower one, the faster one is still above it. So in a way, there is kind of indication that we could see some more upside. But for that, I will probably say that I need a stronger move above all my EMAs here on the daily chart, and if we can get that move, amazing. I will go higher. I will go towards my 42,000 kind of 800 zone, or maybe the 43,000, even better. Of course, we're all thinking about the all-time highs and everything like that. So look, this is somewhere around that 45,000, and on my chart here on the cash index. And let me just double check here. That's the high. Where was that? So this is not that one. 75 and 77. That's the one. That's correct. So that's the all-time high, which was reached back in November. We came very, very close, like just a tick away in January, and then we reversed back down. So we created something like a double top pattern here. Look, we're now kind of traveling, or at least trying to get back above the so-called neckline. You can see that clearly it's really providing good resistance, and if we do somehow jump above this territory right here, let me just highlight it for our future reference. Yep, if we do jump above this area right here, let me just brighten this up a little bit. There we go. So if we do clear this area, then we're back above the neckline of this little formation which we had here, the double top pattern. So in a way, that could be even like a better positive sign. But look how well it is aligned with the 100-day EMA. So in a way, all the stars are aligning nicely, and yeah, we could see more buyers here tuning in. Look, in terms of economic data of today from the US, we don't really have much, to be honest. I think it's going to be a very quiet day. Yesterday we had like a bit of data here coming out. The initial and continuous jobless claims. Where are those? There we go. We had a little bit of a drop in the continuous jobless claims, and the initial ones also did decline. So in a way, all good news for now, it seems like that. But again, like I said, the market is taking everything with a pinch of salt, and I think that you should do so as well, because be careful, because like I said, we're now kind of going, we're now living in this one-man show market, and and headline-driven economy, and everything can, like I said, everything can change very quickly, just with one tweet, or with one X. Anyway, so jumping into the S&P 500 right now, I would say this one is also very interesting because we popped above all the EMAs on the daily chart, but we failed to stay above all these EMAs. So if we can remain, somehow push again back above the EMAs and stay above those, then yes, I'm going to consider a move a little bit higher here, and then we'll go from there. I'm going to consider a move towards the 5,786 territory, which is marked by the highest point, the high of the 26th of March, and we'll go from there. For the downside, I need to see a clearance of all my EMAs, and a break, of course, of this upside line. But well, that will happen automatically if we do clear this upside line, and then yeah, we'll go from there. We could go for these lower levels, but again, I'm also looking at this little hurdle, and this hurdle is around the 5,500 zone. I think that just could be that extra confirmation, for some more downside. Look, in general, the market news are kind of okay-ish. I mean, we're seeing some trade talks positive coming out of this market madness. We saw US and UK kind of agreeing on a few things. There are still issues, of course, don't get me wrong. I mean, the headlines sound pretty good, but there are still, uncertainties. So, look, still, for example, they will get the 10% tariffs on, on vehicles and everything. So I think that was the whole game and the whole kind of idea initially. So, to impose that extra 10% on everything, on all the goods imported into the US, but then, so that it wouldn't be just that main topic, the 10%. I think that what they did is just added additional stuff, and then this is where the uproar happened, and then they'll say, okay, you know what, I will give you, like, I'll remove that extra and just leave the 10. In a way, like, that's the usual sales trick, in a way, like, when you're trying to sell something, so, and to look reasonable and less expensive. So congratulations, I think that worked out well for them. So they imposed the 10% on everything, and just removed all the other extra tariffs. So by the way, I think, like I said, that's the usual game in retail world. So for now, looking at this the situation here on the S&P 500, yes, it seems still positive. We could still go higher, but I need another push above all the EMAs here on the daily chart, and if we can stay above all these EMAs, then yes, I will go further north. Nasdaq 100. Nasdaq 100 is also somewhat positive. I think the Fibonacci needs to go because it's a little bit getting overcrowded here. Yeah, look, I mean, very simple. I think that the fact that we're staying above the psychological 20,000 zone, that's great. So we're staying above all the EMAs. So as long as we stay above those, I'm going to continue targeting the upside. Let's jump into the dollar index. Let's have a look at this one. There we go. Look at this. Was I not mentioning this to you on Monday? On Wednesday, there we go, ladies and gentlemen, we're popped above the upside line here. I talked about it. We pushed back up. So I said to you that the US dollar could see a little bit of movement to the upside, and there we go. Look at this, ladies and gentlemen. We pushed nicely to the upside. We climbed above this upside line, and this upside line, by the way, is taken from the lowest point of lowest point of July of 2023. So now I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards the upside, towards a larger correction here to the upside, towards this downside line taken from the high of the 3rd of February of this year. Let's see how this is going to play out. I think that again, there could be some more positivity to come, so I'm not really disputing that. I mean, what can I say? What can I say? The German index DAX, let's have a look at this one. I mean, this has had a spectacular move to the upside. Look at this. I mean, a new all-time high, isn't it? Just a second. Let's quickly double check. So this one's 23,475, 23,476, and we reach 23,480. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. We hit a new all-time high this morning on the German index DAX. Look at this spectacular move. I mean, this is just unstoppable. You know what? I want to be a little bit more on the careful side. I mean, I told you about this. I'm not really getting bearish or anything like that. I'm not really getting, you know, I need some stronger confirmation. You see, like we had formed like something like a hammer here. And I mean, look at this. We continue to rally, and there we go. I think that there could be some more upside to come if we do stay above the previous all-time high. So the previous all-time high is here. Let me just grab this one. It's this one here, the 23,476. If we continue to trade above that area, I will continue targeting the upside. So that's what I'm going to do. For now, like I said, that's my game plan. And especially looking at this weekly chart, look at this. I mean, this is just a spectacular chart to watch. I mean, from the lows of this here in April, the beginning of April, when we were near the 18,000.5 zone, we're back to all-time highs. I mean, look at this V-shaped recovery. That is just, talk about speculation, right? Yeah, so look, for now, I'll leave it this. I'm not gonna, you know, talk too much about it because there's no point, to be honest. We're aiming for the upside. Whenever we are in uncharted territory, I go for these nice, beautiful numbers. Like the next one could be this 23,700, 750, you know, 800. So we really, like I said, we need to be very careful with that. Of course, we can draw my beloved Fibonacci extension, and we can draw it this way. This is to the all-time high, to this low here, and you can see that this 23,560 is becoming an interesting target, to be honest. So this is something that I want to keep an eye on, and because if we are going to form, let's say if we formed already a V-shaped recovery, if we're going to stay somewhere, let's say, you know, we're going to hit this, this is going to provide good resistance, and then we're going to drift back below the previous all-time high, well, that could be for me a nice little reversal signal. Let's see what's going to happen here, but this is just crazy. The FTSE 100. So look, we had the interest rate decision on yesterday, and the BOE came out with the interest rate cut, which is fine. It was expected. I was hoping to see a little bit of more upside to the upside, to be honest. But I think that the fact that there were talks between between UK and US in terms of, let's say, tariff, in terms of tariffs, and the automotive sector, the UK's automotive sector still remained with a 10% slap on their goods that they're exporting into the US. So yeah. I think that the market didn't really see the positivity despite the rate cut. So the rate cut was kind of a given, and you know, that's what we're getting right now. So unfortunately, we can see some of these things like after the event happens. You know, we can speculate as much as we want. I mean, but I can say one thing for sure, that my preferred upside scenario is still from this, on a break of this 8,650 zone. If we can get a nice clearance of that one, I'll go more to the upside. Yep. So that's what I'm going to do here for now. If I'm looking at some lower levels, I think that the better option right now is to maybe wait a little bit. We can keep an eye on some of these upside lines for sure. Yes. But hey, I would say this way: just be careful here, be careful there. I mean, look, I mean, this is just like I said, it's just a tricky moment. I think that there's no upside line here. I think that the preference would be just to wait for a drop below the 50 and the 100-day EMA, and then we'll just kind of go from there. Let's jump into the Forex world, ladies and gentlemen. AUDUSD looking good here. So looking good. We have dropped. We have dropped back below this hurdle, and I talked about it. I said that if we do fall back below it, I'm going to consider a move lower. There we go. Boom. So what I really want to do is I want to remove everything, and I want to start fresh. So first of all, I'm keeping an eye on my EMA. So we dropped below the 200-day EMA. This kind of increases the chances for a move lower right now. So if we continue to trade below the 200-day EMA, I will continue targeting the downside because but only these EMAs, the 100 and the 50-day EMA, and then we'll go from there. I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not gonna rush into things. In terms of the upside, I think at this point, given that we had already quite a decent rally, maybe a push above the 0.6515 zone would be the better option. But at the moment, I'm not really considering that, just given the fact that the US dollar is recovering a little bit and it could continue applying pressure on AUDUSD. AUDJPY, my beloved risk on, risk off monitor, and there we go. We are flirting with this barrier, this downside line, and we're trying to break it, but it seems like it's a little bit of a difficulty here. But look, nothing is impossible, almost. 93.55, 56 territory. This one, we can keep an eye on that one. If we can get a nice clearance of this will confirm a forthcoming higher high, and we could go for that 100 or maybe even the 200-day EMA. NZD/USD is stuck here. So, okay, look, with this one, it's a little bit better, I think, in my opinion, because we're kind of ranging right now in a way. We found good support near the 0.5893 territory right there, which is the low of the 1st of May. We created a new low for May, but we're kind of staying above the previous lowest point of May. So in a way, maybe we could see this one moving sideways a little bit. That would be quite interesting to see, to be honest. And at this point, I think that I'll just take a little bit of a safer play, and I'll wait for a drop below all my EMAs in order to consider a move lower. USDJPY. So yes, beautiful rebound, logical, because the US dollar has moved nicely to the upside. The stock market is also pushing a little bit higher, so we're seeing less yen buying, and all is, like I said, all is playing out nicely here. However, let's not forget that we're still below the downside line taken from the high of the 10th of January, so in a way this could provide good resistance, not to mention that the 50-day EMA provided already good resistance. So if you're looking for some higher levels on this one, I would say just wait for a break of this downside line. I mean, from the short-term perspective, this played out. So this is what I was shouting out this week, in the beginning of this week. I said that if we do pop back up with the 144 zone, I'm going to consider a larger correction to the upside. Tick, that's done. That's it. I mean, I'm not going to chase this little gap here. I'm just going to allow this one to move a little bit, and then we'll go from there. US dollar and against the Canadian dollar. Look, I mean, from last week, I told you about this formation. I said to you that, I mean, this is like amazing. This is great. And where's that? There we go. Watching carefully USDCAD this week. This is what I threw out on the 5th of May. And I told you about this. I said, I mentioned this this formation, and I said, there we go. Look at this, amazing. I mean, that we had a whenever we have a strong decline and then a gradual decline within like something like a falling wedge or maybe a falling channel. You know, if it's a falling wedge, then we'll understand that it's most likely to break out higher. But if it's a falling channel, sometimes it could be a little bit of an issue. But I said, wait for the clearance. There we go. We got the clearance. We got the breakout here on Wednesday, and yesterday just continuation move to the upside. We reached my target. My target was at 1.39. Great, wonderful. Then if that gets cleared, and yeah, it got cleared, I said to you that I'm going to continue targeting the upside. I'll aim for my 200-day EMA. So as long as we stay above the 1.39 zone, I'm aiming for the 200-day EMA. US dollar against the Swiss franc, so also good result here. But with the Swiss franc, it's because Swiss franc is still on the kind of stronger side a little bit, so I'm not really getting, I'm not really rushing into things. And another thing is here, okay, one thing I really want to do is I want to have a fresh look, ignore everything what has been before. Okay, we have set new norms. We have broken some key support areas right here, as you can see yourselves. But what I want to say is that, look, with USDCHF, we could be forming something of a rising wedge pattern. So that's the thing. We could be forming something of a rising wedge pattern. I'm still kind of considering maybe a bit of a move to the upside here. If we try to use my beloved Fibonacci levels, then let's say from this recent kind of decline, this recent top to this recent decline. There we go. So we are in a way kind of traveling towards that 38.2%. So if that gets cleared, maybe we could go for that 50% here on the Fibonacci retracement if it's drawn this way. If we draw the Fibonacci retracement this way, then you'll see that the 38.2 kind of currently coincides nicely with the 50-day EMA. But again, I don't want to rush into things. We're currently stalling near the 23.6%, so it's also like a good indication. If we can clear this area, then yeah, I'll go for the upper side of the rising wedge. If this provides good resistance, a nice decline here back down could be possible. But in general, why I'm saying this is that, look, I mean, the rising wedge is a bearish indication, so we could still see some downside on this one, but I'm not really rushing into anything like that yet. EURUSD breaking lower. Okay, of course, stronger dollar, that's great. So we broke the upside line, that's fine. But I said to you that this is my next possible area for a rebound. This downside line, which got broken. And this downside line is drawn from the high of the 18th of July. So in a way, for now, I would say I am still somewhat positive on this one, but look, we're very close. If we clear this downside line, I'm leaning towards the downside. This one, I'm loving this one. EUROJPY, look, I talked about this. I said to you, the possible bullish 3 method. Candle to the upside, second candle, third candle, fourth candle, bodies are within almost within the first body, but that's okay. That's, discrepancies happen, and we saw a nice push higher. There we go, beautiful move, and 164.18. That's amazing. Look, what can I say? For now, it's an interesting spot here. I'm still somewhat positive, but again, for more positivity, a break above the 164.18 zone would be required. Euro-Aussie, we're in this falling wedge pattern now. According to all the TA rules, such patterns tend to break to the upside. However, a confirmation break is still needed. Now, previously I talked about the 1.7697 territory, or basically the 1.77 zone, but I think that I can take a little bit of a casual risk. If we do climb above the 1.7629, I will consider some higher areas. There we go, because at the same time we'll be above on my upper side of the falling wedge, and this way we could attract more buyers into the game. EURUSD is at a nice spot here as well. We're stuck, but to be honest, at this point, you know what I want to do is I want to remove everything and just kind of wait for this one to kind of make a better move, because I think I'm gonna stay somewhat bearish, just because we remain below all the EMAs, and the way the EMAs have shaped up here, I mean, it's indicating more downside. But again, I don't want to rush, because maybe, like I said, surprises do happen, and if we do pop above the 0.9445 zone, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the upside. EUROGBP, let's have a look at what's happening here. Okay, look, I have drawn this one as a falling wedge, but maybe it's like, it's not an ideal one. Maybe it should have been drawn somewhere from here. Again, look, it's a tricky one. So maybe this way we could draw it. And yeah, I mean, eventually it could break out higher, but at the moment we're on the move lower, and this kind of confirms my words, which I'm saying all the time, that while even though it could be a bullish pattern, while we remain inside the pattern, we will move in the direction of that pattern, and in this case to the downside. GBPUSD. So there we go. We cleared the hurdle, the 1.3250, and the question now is, can we stay below it? Can we stay below it? But you know what? Given that we're kind of oscillating right now around this 1.3250, I think that maybe, just maybe, we could keep an eye on the 1.3232 actually, just to be a little bit more on the safe side. And if we can get that nice clearance, I'm going to go lower towards my 50-day EMA. Basically, I'm going to go for a larger correction to the downside. Let's jump into, you know what, let's jump into commodities, ladies and gentlemen. Gold, look at this. I mean, we found good resistance near the 3,430. That just proves to me that this is quite a barrier to watch. And if you're looking for some, let's say, higher levels, wait for a clearance of that barrier. If you're looking for some lower areas, well, I will take a very conservative approach here, and I'll wait for a drop below the 3,200 area before considering some downside. Silver. Silver is a mess here, and look, I'm going to remove everything, and I'm just going to stick to my EMAs. You know what? I think it's the simple way. We can bring some trend lines back into the game, like for example this one, just to be a little bit more on the modest side and the conservative side here. But if you're looking for some higher levels, then there you still have a chance, because we remain above all the EMAs on the daily chart. If we do drop below the 50-day EMA, I will start slowly shifting lower here. And let me just grab this line. There we go. So I will slowly start shifting towards the 100-day EMA, and then maybe the 200-day EMA. So if we can clear this this barrier right here, if we can clear this area, this basically the highest point of this week, the 33.24 zone, then yeah, we can consider a move to the upside. But while we remain in here, I'm just kind of cautiously bullish, but then again, it's way too close, so it's a little bit of a mess. And to be honest, it's the end of the week. Unless we somehow push today above this 33.24 zone, then okay, great. Then going into next week, we could see some nice action to the upside, potentially. Let's have a look at copper. Nothing. Okay, yes, the potential China-US trade deal happening. There we go. We're seeing some fluctuation. So basically, this one is a good indicator of Chinese economy. So whenever China is doing good, then copper is doing good. Let's have a look in general. Palladium, what's happening here? Okay, interesting moments. Because look, I do like to look at these other instruments. Maybe for some it's exotic, but they do present themselves with nice opportunities. Honestly, we always need to seek some opportunities, and there are available everywhere. So we're clearing some. Yeah, we're at the moment we're flirting with this 985 zone. Okay, if we can stay above it, we'll go higher, because at the moment we're staying above all the EMAs. That's great. Platinum, something similar, but to be honest, not really the most exciting, so I'm not really touching platinum at the moment. Let's jump into oil. I think that this one's quite interesting. So we're breaking the downside line, the steep downside line, which was a bit of a tentative one. And that's great in a way. That's great. So I would say yes, more buyers here could join in. But look, I'm not in a rush, just because I want to see if this is not going to end up being something like. Let me just adjust this very quickly. If this is not going to end up being oh no, there we go. And if I will copy this this way. So basically, if this is not going to end up being something of a range here, and basically if this is going to be the range, then maybe this could be a part of the bearish flag. We have our pole, and I think that it could be better seen on the weekly. We have our pole, we have our correction back up, so let's see how this is going to play out. If it's going to start moving sideways here, maybe it's going to be a bearish flag. And if then these could break lower. But either way, it doesn't matter, bearish flag, not bearish flag. I said before that my downside scenario is in a break of this $55 mark. If we can get that move, amazing. I'll go lower. Natural gas. We're stuck, so I'm keeping an eye on that 3.74. Not much to add here. I'm just going to stick to the same rule. And for the downside, the 200-day EMA is the kind of gateway for some lower areas. Coffee, there we go. We're stuck still above all the EMAs, so in a way, kind of a positive sign here. Not much to add, to be honest. And yeah, unless we start falling below the 50-day EMA, and then we will consider some, a larger correction back down. And very quickly on wheat, what's happening here with wheat? Stuck, not major. Nothing major. Sugar is pushing back up. Okay. Trying to make its way back above the 17.5 zone. Right. If we can stay above that area, maybe we could consider maybe a little bit of a larger correction back up. Let's see. Cotton. Cotton drifted back down. Ooh, I love cotton, honestly. Like, I mean, this commodity is really interesting. So, but overall, although we're struggling to create a higher high, we are actually creating a higher low. That's a good sign, and maybe we're getting into a bit of a squeeze. So let's see which way this is going to break out to. And for dessert, finally, ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin. So everything is working out. This week I talked about this, and also in my crypto updates here, I talked about this. Yesterday I threw out this crypto update. I talked about, Ripple recently as well. Where's that Ripple? There we go, about that breakout. So I'll just jump into that in a bit. But in general, everything is working out nicely. So like I said, as planned, this week on Monday, I started talking about this. I said, look, keep your eyes on the 97 or 98,000 zone. If we can clear that one, my next target is the 100,000 zone. We smashed that, and now it seems like we're kind of heading for the all-time high, at least. This is how it looks. But can we do that new all-time high? Let's wait and see. Bitcoin Cash, beautiful move, but this one's a little bit. And look, yesterday I talked about this, and I said that if we do pop and stay above the 200-day EMA, and we really do stay above the 200-day EMA, then this is what we could get. And because maybe the third time is a lucky one, and like I said, I mentioned this in my crypto update yesterday. So good result here, fantastic. 418 zone reached, and the question is now, how can we go further north? Is the 500 on the table? Well, it surely couldn't be that one. Let's see, Ethereum, let's have a look at this one. Ethereum, beautiful, spectacular move. Look at Ethereum. Oh my god, like, this is just great, crazy. Like, I thought we saw some news coming out from that Coinbase is buying Deribit, and that one's a big deal, like 2.9 billion in crypto deal. Wow. Anyway, look. By the way, speaking about Coinbase, let's have a look how the stock is looking at this one. Okay, this one, it seems like it's ready to shoot. Okay, let's see if this is going to be the case. If this is going to shoot here, if we can clear the 210 zone, hey, maybe this could be a nice little opportunity. Let's see. But again, I'm not, like I said, I'm not really advocating for to be buying here, but in general, also, just if we do apply technical analysis on this stock, then we'll see that we are forming a inverted head and shoulders pattern, and this is kind of opening the doors to some higher levels. So basically, in other words, we're looking at some higher levels, but a clearance here is required. If we can get that nice clearance, I will go higher, but initially only up until here, up until this downside line taken from the highest point of December, and then we'll go from there. So long story short, there is potential, but you need to be a little bit more on the careful side later on. Let's jump into Ripple. Ripple, beautiful pop. This is, like I said, this is what I was talking about recently, and I threw out this piece. I said watch out for that move, but not only for the downside line break. Keep your eyes on that 2.30 zone. If that gets cleared, now that's where it could become a little bit more interesting. And there we go. It seems like it looks a little bit more on the positive side, right? So far, so good. I'm happy with this one. And IDK, I can see you there in the chat room. Thank you very much for your comment. Thoughts on Doge? One moment, I have it here in the list, so I'll jump into that one in a bit. But thank you very much for your comment. Really appreciate that. Litecoin, one of my beloved ones. Fantastic, good move. I cannot really say anything else, to be honest. But look, I said to Yash on Wednesday that I need a clearance of these EMAs here, and if we can get that clearance, I'll go higher. You see, I don't really have a good area of resistance. I'm aiming for that 100 zone or somewhere around it, and then we'll go from there. I want to see then what's going to happen. Then I want to see what kind of resistance area we can capture here. But for now, I don't really have a resistance area. I'm just going to go for that psychological 100 level. Dogecoin. Now, Dogecoin is also having a good moment. It cleared. I talked about this, and in my recent webinars, I said that, look, if we do clear my EMAs, if we do clear the 50, I will go towards the 100 and the 200. There we go. Managed to reach it. Now, if those get cleared, I'll go for the upper side of the falling channel, because don't forget that we're still in this falling channel pattern. Now, I don't really have like a clear like area where it could establish like a resistance of some sort, but in a way, maybe, just maybe, we could see this as a barrier somewhere around here. This 0. Let's get rid of this 0.2428 ish. But again, that's if we do see an overshoot through the upper side of the falling channel. So in general, in the very short term, from the very short term perspective, yes, everything's looking quite positive. We're having this momentum. If we do clear the upper side of the falling channel and we stay above it, okay, I'll go higher. Maybe the 0.30 could be the next target. Maybe, we could aim for let me just adjust this. Oh, nope, not 3, not 4, 3. There we go. So maybe this could be the territory, but it's basically near the near that 0.30 zone, which I'm talking about. So that could be a good target, but again, a lot of ifs have to happen first. First, of course, given the fact that we popped above the 50, that's wonderful. My next target had got achieved. My next targets got achieved, got reached, the 100 and the 200-day EMA. Then if those get cleared, I'm aiming for the upper side of the falling channel. And again, this one is a little bit more vague, to be honest. But if we start clearing the 0.2428 zone, somewhere 0.2428, the area, I'm going to start, yes, looking at some more upside. Polkadot. Oh, by the way, so IDK, I don't know if this answers your question or anything, but hey, these are my thoughts. Polkadot looking good. Look at this beautiful move here. I talked about this yesterday. Hey, I said that I need a pop above the 50-day EMA. If I can get that pop, I'll go higher. 100-day EMA, that's where I'm going to aim for. There we go. Boom. I cannot say anything else apart from if we do stay above the 100-day EMA, my next target is the 200-day EMA. Jumping into now Tron. Now this one I like as well. It's interesting, but this one has not popped yet. So the question is, does this one have enough steam? Does this have enough interest? But hey, let's see where this one's gonna go. Actually, I'm really curious about the rankings right now. Crypto market cap. Let's have a look. What are the standings right now? So this is what I'm looking at right now. So Tron is on 10th place. So if these guys are oh, by the way, just Solana. We don't really have Solana, but let's have a look at the no, wait. Where's where's TradingView? So USD probably. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Solana also popped. Okay, that's absolutely fine. But look, I'm really curious right now. Look, this here, BNB, by the way, as well. BNB. Let's have a look. BNBUSD. What's happening? Yes, we're popping. So these guys are all popping. USDC. Yeah, USDC. Yep. Okay. And these are all those guys popping. Dogecoin, Cardano. Let's have a look at Cardano. AUDUSD. Let's have a look at that one. Yep. Okay, also popping. But what's interesting is that Tron is sitting quietly there. Okay, that's interesting. Like I said, that's very, very interesting. Let's see. And maybe this could be, like I said, an opportunity. Who knows? But basically, my vision on this one was that if we do clear this 0.2570 zone, I'm going to lean a little bit more towards the upside. So let's see if we can get that move. For now, like I said, I am somewhat positive because, again, all others are popping. This one is a little bit lagging, but hey, maybe this could present itself with a nice opportunity later on. So let's see. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, and that is a wrap. That is a wrap. Thank you everybody for watching and listening. IDK, thank you very much for your comment. I really appreciate that. In general, that's the whole point of this session, this live session, in order to kind of for you to ask questions. So feel free always, if you're watching this as a recorded session, just always drop a comment in there, and I'll try to pick up on this one, on your question, in the next session. So hey, join me on Monday, as always, the same time, 7 o'clock GMT time, for another live session, for another new week of trading, and we'll go from there. So ladies and gentlemen, as always, stay safe, have your stop losses in place, risk only what you can afford to lose, don't overtrade, and everything will be fine. I'll see you on Monday. Bye bye.